So today in our class, we are going to learn about classes. Okay, classes in SAP. Either we can call it in SAP BW or SAP ABAP, whatever it may be. In the ABAP topic, as part of ABAP topic, we are going to cover classes. Okay, what is a class, and we learn something about what is class and what is internally what we do, how to create, and then we will see how to create a class from SAP GUI with some examples. Okay, this is what we are going to discuss today. So I will try to explain what is a class in a simple way, and let's see how it goes. System is slow. Okay, so if I go to SAP help and see the definition of a class, okay, it is saying the type of an object is known as its class. The type of an object is known as its class. So it is a difficult to understand what is the everything. So these class concepts comes under object oriented programming. Okay, so object orientation is a problem solving method that represents the real world in a scenario in a series of software objects. Okay, so when you are working with classes, the main point what you need to remember, at least 2 to 3 points, what you need to remember is object oriented programming. If we are dealing with classes concept, then you are working with object, we are working on object oriented programming. Okay, in the classes, object is one of the main main word which you use. Okay, so yeah, now I will go to some not examples. I will try to explain what is a class means, why we use a class. Okay, so to explain this now, simply in my terms, if I want to explain what is a class, class is a template object. Okay, what it means, for example, if you see this picture, in order to bring this to make this item, we use mold. Okay, so what is this mold? So mold contains the image of the picture internally, like everything was built. So when you keep some mud into this one, then automatically whatever material it is, it will prepare one nice picture like this. Okay, nice item I can say. Okay, not picture. Okay, so one mold can be used to produce as many number of real items. Correct. So if you prepare the mold once, then you can reuse this mold to prepare n number of objects. Correct. In the same way, you can create a class once and but this mold no one will buy, because mold is, if you see this mold, this is doesn't have any meaningful here. But when you see the output of the mold, the object created out of the mold is have the existence, and it is having importance. Okay, because this is the real item. Mold is only a template, what I can say. Okay, we use mold as a template only, but the objects created on top of mold are very useful and which are real existence. Okay, in the same way, what we do is we create a class. Okay, let's consider this is a class. On top of the class, what we do is we create objects. On top of this class, what we do, we create objects. So can object can be produced independently? No. Object always can be produced from a class only, on top of a class only. Clear? So to create a object, so these are all nothing but objects. object 1, object 2, object 3, object 4. Okay, so to create objects, what we need? We need a class. In the class, we will provide the template of how the we will create some definitions, and objects will are the implementations of the definitions. Okay, so like this. So this is the real-time implementation, and this is only the template object in the same. Now I will tell you. Okay, I will make it simple by giving one example here. In the class, we create in the class, one of the concept is called attributes. In the class, one of the component is called attributes. Okay, attributes are nothing but variables. Earlier we learned about programming, right? In the programming, if you want to perform a plus b, then you need a is one variable, b is one variable, and to store the result, you are creating another variable, result variable, correct? In the same way, in a class, if you want to perform any operations, either arithmetic operations or if you want to perform any logic, okay, to store the information, definitely you need some variables, correct? In the class, we create major variables in the form of attributes. Okay, simply you can consider these as variables in our program. Okay, so let's take one example called attribute at underscore a. Is a, for example, at underscore e is a variable of type integer. I means integer, right? Integer. Okay, now I created at underscore a one attribute. So here it is not correct to use a variable word. Okay, when comes to classes topic, we have a proper naming convention. So definitely we need name wording also. We need to call this at underscore a as an attribute of the class. Okay, I created one attribute of type integer, and I'm creating one more attribute at underscore b. Again, this is also of type integer. Okay, so now this class is a template. So this particular attributes doesn't store any information. Okay, this is just a template. So when you create object on top of this class, now this object will get this information also. Here also you can see at underscore a, at underscore b. Why? Because you are created this object on top of this class. So whatever is there in the class will be available in the object also. Okay, will be available in the object also. So now what we do is we will store some values in the objects. So to store some values, definitely we need to use the object only. You cannot store directly into the class. Okay, there are some cases where you can store, but as we are on the initial phase of the learning classes, consider to store some value into the attribute. First of all, you need to create one object. Okay, you have to create one object, and on using that object, like in that object you are storing some value is equal to 20. Okay, now you see I created one more object using same class, like I will use same mold, and I will create n number of my objects. Okay, now for one object I will keep green color, for another object I will put blue color. Both are different objects. Okay, if I touch, for example, if I smash one object, will the second object will be smashed? No, right? Because both are independent. In the same way, when we create objects, all are independent objects. Whatever you save in the first object will not reflect on the second object. Okay, because both are independent. But object contains the information from class. So whatever class contains, the same will be reflected on our object also. Okay, so now as I said in my earlier example, for one object I will give green color, another object I will give red color. In the same way, on the first object I am storing 10 and 20, In my second object, I will store 30 and 40 or 30 and 10. Okay. So this is different. Object 2 is completely different. Object 1 is completely different. Okay. When I store something here, this doesn't impact anything on object 1. Okay. So if I want to calculate result in object 1, so for example, in my class, so to get any variable in objects, first you need to create it in class. So whatever you create in class, that will be reflected in all objects. One second. Type integer. Okay. Since you created one more variable here on the template, so automatically the same variable will be reflected in all your objects. Okay. So now what will happen? Okay. So you assigned attribute, you created some attributes A, B, C and A, B and result. Okay. Now what is happening is now you want to perform like you like to perform summation of these two variables. So where like how you can do the summation, because till now what we did is a definition variable declaration only, but to perform any action in a class, to perform in a because when talking about declaration, when talking about something performing action, we always talk with respect to class only, not with respect to object, because object is a this object is created on top of class. So any action you want to perform in object, first the definition to be available in the class. Okay. So now I am coming to class here. So now I want to perform one action. What is that action? I want to perform A plus B and store the result on result variable. Okay. Result attribute. So to perform this action, classes use methods. Okay. Classes use methods. So now methods is another component in the class. We attributes are nothing but variables of kind, okay, where we store some information into these attributes, and methods are defined to perform actions. Okay. That's so here m underscore, just to make it clear now, m I am giving just to mention it is a method. Okay. Method underscore sum. So in this method, it is okay, I will I will write some code. So in order to write any code in the class, you need methods. Okay. In the method, I will write a code which adds at underscore a and at underscore b and bring the and store the value under at result. So simply what I can say here, I am going to write some code in the method at attribute is equal to at underscore a plus at underscore b. So in order to write this kind of code, I need a method. I cannot because where I can write code in the class is only in methods I can write the code, I can say. Okay. So that's why you have to create some methods in a class to perform some actions. Okay. So far it is okay. Next. So whenever you create a method, then automatically this method will reflect on all your objects. So here also you can have that method. Here also you can find that method. Here also you can find. Here also you can find. Okay, because all these are templates. A class is a template object, and these are all defined on top of the class. Okay. So now in order to perform this 10 and 20 summation, just you need to call the method sum. If you call the method sum, it will perform this action and store the value under this result. Okay. So just to make it complete, I need to write methods here, and below to methods, I need to write sum. Mm. make this one a little bit bigger. Huh? So I will write here itself methods. Okay, better to write on this new line m underscore sum. Okay, so same thing will come under copy. Here also, what will happen? We will see AAT underscore result field and methods sum. I'm removing these two just to get more space. Okay, I'm removing this. This. So that's it. So this is what is class. Okay, till now what we learned is at a pictorial representation level, everything on the screen, but we not yet into system yet. Okay. So to understand classes, this is a very simple way of understanding class. Class is a template object like a mold. On top, we use we use the class to create our objects. Okay, na? So in whatever we have in the class, everything will be shown in the object. Okay, so yeah, in the beginning, at the beginning to understand these classes, this is the best way of understanding. Okay, so we have many concepts like static variables and all. So that part we will learn later. Okay, okay, which can store directly the information in the class also, but those are all later concepts. So on the initial concept level to understand better way of classes, I hope this will make the life easy. Okay, now what we are going to do is whatever we seen here in the pictorial in the screen, now we are going to implement in the real in the SAP. Okay, so how to create a class? To create a class in SAP, you need to go to transaction code SC24. Okay, I don't know what happened. It is not. So when you need to go to transaction code SC24. Okay, so this was that transaction code SC24. SC24 is nothing but class builder where we can create our classes. Okay, now I am going to create one class called ZCL underscore AN is my naming convention. For like AN is my keyword to identify my objects. Okay, and then I am going to give the name as okay numbers. So here in this class, I am going to perform many operations on numbers. That's why I am giving my class name as numbers. Okay, ZCL. Z is a custom. Z represents it is a custom class. Okay, na always create a class with a prefix with Z, which represents your custom class. And then CL means a class. So to understand this object is of type class, I am giving ZCL underscore, and then the AN is my keyword to identify my programs, and then numbers is the functionality what I am going to build in my class. So I given my class name here like this way. Now click on create. So when you creating, it will ask for the to perform operations on numbers. So here what is happening is I need to provide some description. And we have many other options, right? As of now, since we are on the first class of these classes, don't touch anything, just click on save. Okay, I'm saving it as a local object only. That's it. Now this is my initial screen of class. Okay, my class contains properties, interface. These are all different tabs in my class. Properties, interfaces, friends, attributes, methods, events, types, aliases. Okay, so one by one we will learn each and every tab. Okay, so first tab we need to learn is attributes tab. Why? Because I explained, right, a class contains attributes and methods. So for mainly first we are going to understand this attributes tab and work on the methods tab, then we go for the remaining tabs. Okay, so what I explained, attribute tab is used to define the variables, means attributes. Here in class we need to call them as attributes. So I'm going to create one attribute called at underscore a. Why I'm giving 80? 80 represents here attribute, or you can give a also, or you can give by whatever naming convention you prefer, you can give that name. Okay, 80 underscore a is my attribute name. Okay, and next of type I means integer. Okay, then press enter. So here you need to understand two more extra columns called label and visibility. When you give an attribute name and give associated type I and press enter, then you are automatically these two columns got populated. One is label, instance attribute. So this also we learn later, but visibility, at least we need to know some idea. Okay, because we are going to change the visibility to public. Okay, so what is visibility? So if you want to learn about visibility, just press F1, then you will get SAP help. Okay, so let's see what are the visibility here, visibility sections. In SAP Beta, in SAP, on the classes topic, we or else in object-oriented programming, not only in SAP, but any OOPS concept, whether it is a Java or .NET or SAP ABAP, whatever it may be, classes are common, almost like initial concept of the classes is common everywhere. Okay, in OOPS. So we have three kind of visibilities: public, protected, and private. Okay, now mainly we are talking about public only in today's session. Later sessions we talk about protected and private visibility sections. Okay, so to make so what I'm going to do is, as of now, I'm going to define this as a public. Okay, why I means I don't want to go into the subject of why what is public and all, because it kills our time. But generally, to make it general, just make public. Okay, private and protected visibility sections are having a different functionality that we later point. Hmm? So I'm giving public here. So in the same way, I'm using creating one more attribute ATB of visibility section public of type I. So two attributes got created in my class so far. Okay. Now what I am going to do is, now I'm going to method section. Okay. To perform any action on these attributes, I need to create, I must create one method, because where I can write code only in the methods, I have an option to create a code. Okay. So now I'm going to create one code method called sum. Okay, I'm going to create a method called sum. So in the classes, whatever attributes you create, whatever methods you create, every component in the section always associated with one visibility class. So public, I'm giving as of now everything as a public only. Okay, this sum also comes under, I'm changing it to public visibility section. Okay, now I want to write the code in sum. So how to write a code in sum? In order to write the code in sum, double click on it. Okay, then class numbers has been changed, save means yes. Then you will go to the implementation of the class. So this is the implementation of the method. Okay, this is sum is a method. Now when you double click on it, then you goes into the implementation of the method. Okay, just click on save. Just try to activate once your class. Okay, so you see now class is in active state. Come back one step. Now you see your just to try to activate here also, just to make sure no errors are there. You see it is also activated. Now fine. So we not yet defined any code in the sum. Now we are going to write the code. But one thing is, now I am going to tell one more new concept. Okay, so the sum. I am going to perform some action in the sum. What is that action? I am going to perform addition of two attributes, AT and ATA plus ATB. Okay. So the result where I am going to store. Here you see I didn't created any new variable to store my result. Okay, na? To store my result, I didn't created any new variable. So let's create here only, then we go for the topic then. Okay, AT underscore sum result. Okay, of type instance, it will come automatically when I press enter. This is also type integer. Okay, so I created three attributes here, and go to method section, go to sum section, sum method. Here I am going to write my code. Okay, so point here is, in the methods, we can use the variable, we can use the attributes. Okay, this is called access. So methods can access all the attributes defined in the class. Okay, so this method belongs to which class? This class only. So this method can access all the attributes defined in the class. It means this particular method can read the information present in 80 underscore a. You see, if I press 80 underscore and control space, control plus space, you see I can see 80 underscore a, 80 underscore b, 80 underscore result. So now what is my logic here? 80 underscore result is equal to 80 underscore a plus 80 underscore b. Full stop. That's it. This is my logic. So this is the action. Summation I am going to perform, and whatever sum I got, I am storing again in the result 80 underscore result. Okay. Now that's it. I am activating my method, going one step back, going one step. Now this is done, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to execute this class to see how the output is coming. Okay, so far actually, I'm not yet done with the coming for objects. So till now what we did is only class. So I created a class, I defined some attributes, I defined one method, and I written some code also, logic also in the method. So this is all kind of definition only. Okay, so there is a button called in test environment execute. Okay, you see when I click on the execute test object, so it is creating one object here on top of my class. Okay, I told you, right, classes cannot be executed directly. You have to create an object to do the implementation of the class, at least to do the to use the to know to store some values or to perform some actions. Definitely you need to create one object on top of the class. So when I click on execute, what system doing is system creating one test object on my class. Okay, and now you see in my class I have all the attributes available and I have my method also available. Okay, in my attribute section 80 underscore a I am passing 10 value, on 80b I am passing 20 value, and the result I am not passing anything because result will be calculated when I call this sum method. Okay, how to execute sum method? You see, this is a method, that's why there is an execution button here. When I click on this execution method button, then what will happen? Whatever code written on this sum method, that will be executed. So in the sum method, I did 80 underscore result is equal to a plus b, right? So see, I'm clicking on the execute button. Now you see I got 30 here. So how I got 30? Whenever I click on execute button, it went to this method definition and executed the logic written in it. Clear? So this is how to create a class and how to create a method and attributes. Okay, that's it. This is very simple when it comes to creation and initial understanding of the classes. Okay, so are we going to create some methods in real time? Means no, in real time we will perform different logics. Okay, we will use these classes in a very organized manner to perform so many actions. Okay, that we will learn step by step. Okay, so now I performed some action. Now what I am going to perform is, now I want to perform subtraction too. Okay, sum is one kind of action I am performing on my attributes, right? Now what I want is I want to perform subtraction also on my attributes. Okay, so whenever I define a method here, automatically all my objects also um, you know get this automatic this method def information m underscore subtraction. Okay, so now for what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more method called subtraction and changing the visibility to public. Okay, now go double click on the sub, go to the definition of the sub. Here you need to write your code. Okay, so you need to store the result, right? 80 underscore result is equal to 80 underscore a or 80 underscore b minus 80 underscore a. So I am doing b minus a. Okay, and then activate this action method. Go back one step. Now click on again, come to the class definition. Now click on this execution bed in the test environment. So now you see you have two methods and three variables. Now I'm going to again give 10 here, giving 20 here. Okay. Now which action you want to perform, sum action or subtraction? Now I want to perform subtraction. Okay. I'm clicking on the execute button in front of subtraction. Okay. Now you see 20 minus 10, 10. So now 80 result is storing the value whatever this particular action is performing. When I clicking on sum, when I calling, so whatever I'm doing now, like executing this method is nothing but calling the method. I am calling sum method now. If I click on execute method here, you see now the result was changed to 30. So earlier the same variable I used to store the subtraction value. Now I am using same variable to store my what is this addition value, correct? So because I am sharing this variable on both the places. So whatever action you perform, the latest result is storing in this 80 result. Okay. So why should I always use, attribute of the class to store my result? Can the sum has its own kind of variable? Okay. Let's see what I am talking about. Okay. So when I am storing my result, I am always storing on the global variable. So what is global variable? Whatever attributes, global attribute, not variable, global attribute. Whatever attributes we are creating here on the class definition, those are called global attributes. Okay. Apart from these global attributes, we have one more place where we can define our variables. Okay. So in the sum method, if you click on the sum and go to this parameters section, you see there you have one option to create our own local variables. What we call them as local variables. So lv underscore result. Okay, type okay, and leave it. It will come automatically. Associate type integer. You see. Now see, just for your understanding, I'm telling this point. Methods are nothing but like function modules. How a function module is having importing parameter and exporting parameter. In the same way, a method is also having these kind of options: importing, exporting. Importing means you have to pass information to the method. Exporting means from those variables you are getting the information. Okay. Now this result is not an importing parameter, but it is an exporting parameter. Okay. Exporting parameter means it gives us the value. It doesn't take value from us, but it gives us the result value to us. Okay. Na? So I am creating result as an exporting parameter of type I. Click on save. Come again, click on this method section and now go to definition of the sum. You see, when you go to definition of the sum, on the top of the method, you see there is one variable parameter called LV result type I. Okay. Now this LV result, whatever I defined, is local to this class only. It means you can use this particular result parameter only in this class. Okay. What it means? Now, if I go to the subtraction method, here you see, here you don't have any parameters. Why? Because the parameter what you created LV result is a local to the sum method only. Okay. Attributes what we define are global. You can use in any of the methods you defined here. But parameters you created for each method are local to those methods only and cannot be shared. Okay. Very important point to remember. Okay. So I am creating LV result here of exporting. Now I am going to the definition of my sum method. Okay. Instead of using attribute value to store, what I am going to do is I am going to use my local LV underscore result is equal to ATA plus ATB. Activate. Okay. And then click on OK. Now let's try to execute our example class and let's see. So I'm creating one test environment object. I am giving value 10 here, 20 here. Now I am clicking on sum. Execute. You see, when I click on sum execution button, it is taking to another screen with export parameters, means it is giving the result value. LV result is equal to 30. Okay. So this LV result is local to this sum. Okay. See the option it is showing under the sum means it is local to the sum only. Now if I go one step back, You see, here you cannot see because that LV result is local to sum. On the main screen you cannot see that LV result. Okay, but subtraction is still using a AT result attribute. Okay, now what I am going to do is on subtraction method also I am going to create one local variable. So select the subtraction method, go to parameter section, here LV underscore sub result, subtraction result. To make it different from other method variable value, I am giving a different name here, LV local variable. Like parameter you can call p also, since it is under parameter section. You can p underscore sub underscore result is equal result of type I. Is it importing or exporting? It's an exporting because we are storing info, we are writing the output into the result. That's why it must be exporting parameter here, and then click on save and go to method section. Now go to subtraction method implementation, and you see in the subtraction method implementation you can see p underscore sub underscore result of type I. So now instead of storing it on the global attribute, store it on your local variable. P underscore sub result is equal to ATB minus ATA. Activate the method, come back one step, again activate your class, okay, and then execute the class. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to provide ATA value as 10 and here 20. Now I'm clicking on subtraction execution method. Click here. Now you see the result is 10. The result is stored under p underscore sub result, which is local. Okay. And you see here test object hyphen sub. It means on this object, it is calling subtraction method, and this is the subtraction method output. Okay. So before, yeah, this is the easiest way to learn classes and to learn how these are implementing working of the classes. Okay, as this was the first class of our classes, so let's learn everything on this screen only. Okay, later we see how we are calling it in a general program and how to create object and everything. I will explain tomorrow, not today. Okay, so I hope it is clear so far. So simply I am recapping what I did. Class is a template object. Okay, in the template object we couldn't perform any actions. In order to perform any action we need to create objects. Okay, objects will get the all the definitions from the class. Okay, in the class we have mainly two sections, attribute section, method section. We have other sections also which we discuss in later classes. In the attribute section is used to define variables, global variables, which can be used in methods. Okay, and methods are used to perform any action, that's it. And methods also, in methods also we can create local variables called parameters. In methods also we can create local variables, we call them as parameters of the variable of the method. And the existence of those parameters is limited to within the method only. You cannot use the parameter created in one method in a different method. It is not possible. The existence of these parameters are defined, are limited to the within the method only. Okay, next. So going back to SAP screen, so we create the class from SC24 transaction code, and in the attribute section we create attributes. In the method section we create methods, and each attribute or method must be belongs to one visibility section, either public, private or protected. So far we learned about only public. Okay, the definition we learn later point. Okay, and in the methods, if you want to create parameters, select the method and go to parameter section. Then you can see the parameters defined on the method. Okay, and if you double click on the method, it will goes to the implementation part. Okay, so you see here the sometimes you may not see this window. Whatever parameters I am seeing here, you may not see it on your screen. If you click on the signature button, it will turn on and off of this parameter section. Okay, one second, it's loading. Generally, in most of the systems, when you open method, you will see like this only, method and the implementation. You cannot see the parameters defined on this method. If you want to see parameters, then you need to click on the signature button. Okay, signature button. That's it. So turn off, again click on signature, it will be turned off. Okay, so that's it. Now local variables, everything, that's all today. To execute the class, click on this execute button and it will create one test object, because as I read, object is mandatory to perform any actions. So create a test object and then store information and then execute methods to get the result. Okay, that's all about the classes. Okay, I'm stopping recording. No, before stopping, let me give you assignment to create a class. Okay, so going to the assignment, so what I ask you to do is first point is create a class. So since I already worked on arithmetic operations, so what I will ask you is um, okay, better. You need some hands-on practice. That's it, right? Create a class with the name GCL underscore whatever it may be. I'm giving here NA underscore. Okay. Um, Division. Okay. Create a method. Create a class to perform divisions. Okay. This one. Next. Create below attributes in the class. Okay, so what are the attributes you need to define? You need to define two attributes, at underscore a type integer, at underscore b type integer, visibility public. Okay, so for both the variables, the visibility must be as of now public only. Third point, create a method division. Okay, and create a local parameter. Why I'm writing all this means, by reading this one, you get to know the naming standard namings. Okay, what is class, what is attribute, what is local parameter, how to call the variables and all, you get to know. That's why I'm writing everything here. Okay, create a local parameter p underscore result. Okay, and implement logic to perform b a by b. Okay, to perform the logic to perform a by b. Okay, but so one more twist here, but use if condition here, condition here. So what was the condition? If my b value is 0, then assign p underscore result is equal to 0, or else calculate p underscore result is equal to a divided by b. So this is the logic you need to implement on this method. Okay, so this is a good example. So you are defining a method. In the method, you are creating one local variable p underscore result. Okay, now in the code, in the logic of this method, like implementation of this method, you are going to write one if condition. In the if condition, you are checking this at underscore b is 0 or not. If it is 0, then simply assign 0 as a output, p underscore result as 0. If b is not 0, then perform a by b operation and store the result underscore result on p underscore result. Okay, this is a good example to practice, and after try to execute it and let me know if you face any issues. Okay, this is a very good example to practice initially to understand. Okay, So that's all for today. Okay, I'm stopping recording.